What's up, men, women, Apache attack helicopters, and of course, members of THICC PAPI squad. West Coast Wiley here, and welcome to the continuation of my CHUNGUS Brain Guide series. Initially, I intended to have an entire gaming tier guide, where I'd categorize all major types of gamers. Unfortunately, I'd like to have this video out before I die of old age, so I've decided to break this down into a more manageable game-by-game basis. This video, as you could probably already tell, is on the Call of Duty franchise, with an emphasis on Modern Warfare 2019, because it is the current game at the time of me making this video. Let's get into it. Throughout our lives as humans, we have a lot of firsts. First time riding a bike, first time driving a car, first time shitting our brains out in a public restroom.
This is me, running into the Taco Bell bathroom with my ass cheeks clenched. I was only 2 bites into my chalupa when the diarrhea hit me. Please send me your thoughts and prayers.
There's a first time for everything. Me, West Coast Wiley, captain of THICC PAPI squad and alpha male gaming extraordinaire. If you clicked on this video, you've probably played Call of Duty before. But do you remember your first time? Is there a specific point in time where you can confidently say you leapt from beginner to intermediate? How about intermediate to advanced? Every single person who's ever played COD had a first time in the game, and every single person learned something from it and improved at it, at least to some degree. We were all children once who had to learn to read, write, spell, and so on. Similarly, we all had to learn the various skills required to play COD. This video will be grouping the Call of Duty player base into categories, comparing the stages they're in to the stages of human physical development. This guide is a product of countless hours of research, and will have been a success upon accomplishment of 3 main goals. To teach the viewer to identify the social pecking order of the Call of Duty player base through the establishment of tiers. To give the viewer a basic understanding of the people who reside in each of the tiers. To give the viewer the proper tools they'd need in order to handle one or more of these gamers when encountering them in the wild. Let's start at the bottom of the tiers. The very bottom. Now let's go even farther down and place a dumpster full of shit. Upon closer inspection, you'll see that alongside the shit, or perhaps even being the shit, is the people who cheat in Call of Duty. Cheating is an unbelievably large issue in Call of Duty, and it's not going to improve anytime soon. There are 2 types of cheaters that I'm going to touch on in this video. The first are reverse boosters. You could argue that reverse boosting is just a symptom of the aggressive skill-based matchmaking that plagues modern Call of Duties, and I'd agree. However, that's not a justifiable excuse for you to abuse the game matchmaking system in order to ruin the experience of lower skilled players. The second, and much more problematic, pile of shit in this dumpster is the hackers. Hacking has existed in COD for as long as COD has existed, but only in recent years has it gotten this out of hand. It's a rare occasion that I go an hour without getting killed by a guy who was looking at me through the entire map, and that's in 6v6 search and destroy. This video isn't a rant about cheating in Call of Duty, so I'll leave that alone for now. Cheaters need to have an unfair advantage in order to enjoy the game. They're often very toxic and usually blow up upon being accused of cheating. Unfortunately, the only thing you could really do about cheaters is report them, which usually does nothing. The best thing you could do is try and enjoy the game around them. Turn off crossplay if you can. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to Tier 1. I like to compare gamers in Tier 1 to children. There are various stages of development that a child goes through, from learning to take their first steps to running. The new and intermediately experienced Call of Duty players. Some are learning to play for the first time, and some are just casually running around, not caring about skill progression. I'm talking about noobs and casual players. Everyone has been there. Whether it was on Call of Duty or any other game, everyone has been a noob. You weren't born in a gaming chair, and you had to learn the basics at some point. Just because you were thrown into the grinder back in MW2 lobbies, and are now a seasoned, bunny-hopping, knee-sliding sweatlord, doesn't make you superior to someone who's just learning. If you encounter a noob in the wild, which, with skill-based matchmaking, it's pretty unlikely, I'd recommend you be kind to them while you can. They encounter Potato Mike toxic poop lords every game, and if you can give them a little bit of sportsmanship and positivity on their journey, they're much more likely to pay it forward, and much less likely to screech into their mics and put down other players when they do come out on top in a match. Let's move on to the filthy casuals. Casuals either don't have the time or are not interested in investing into the game. They want to get off work and play an hour of COD with their buddies before they have to go do other things, real life things. We don't like these people. If you find yourselves in game chat with one of these filthy casuals and don't know what to say, here's some ammo. I f***ed your mom. Your shit. Get shit on. While these timeless classic insults are great, I'd really like to encourage you to be creative, as game chat talking is in itself a core component of Call of Duty gameplay. Now to Tier 2. You know the stereotypical bully from a pre-2000s movie? He's being followed around by a posse who echoes everything he says, portrays a bloated self-image, and automatically thinks that if he could beat someone up, he's better than them. The COD version of a low IQ real-life bully is a sweaty, or tryhard. These people were once little kids and were repeatedly verbally harassed in game chat. Over time, these insults were internalized and are still being held onto. Just like the real-life bully who is abused at home and then brings that abuse with them and gives it to smaller kids in their class, these sweaties are upset children on the inside who ultimately aren't emotionally mature enough to use the internet. Sweaties don't enjoy COD gameplay as much as they enjoy doing better than other people in COD. They will find any excuse to situationally devalue you in order to try and make themselves sound even better for destroying randoms in a public lobby. They spend the time learning the head glitches, power positions, and map flow. Their version of not even trying is using an M4 instead of an MP5. Beneath the FaZe clan skin and Damascus camo weapons, these people are quite toxic and quite vulnerable. Encounters with sweaties are usually instigated by them. If you're being targeted by one, I'd recommend a very passive approach. If you can maintain a normal tone of voice while they yell, you've already won. That is, unless you're doing better than them. If you manage to outperform a COD sweatlord, and they miraculously haven't rage quit the game already, talk as much as physically possible. You could take the high road and treat them with respect, but let's be honest, they don't deserve respect. Tell them about your adventurous bedroom encounters with their mother.
Nice.
Next is Tier 3. Just like the toxic man-children that reside in Tier 2, Tier 3 COD players generally have an advanced skill set and knowledge of the game. Unlike them, however, Tier 3 players are not inherently toxic. They are capable of being competitive in the game without being emotionally invested in it. Basically, a Call of Duty player reaches Tier 3 when they've achieved advanced skill in the game while not needing to try as hard as physically possible to enjoy themselves. This is, in essence, an umbrella category for gamers who have the skill level of a sweaty, while also maintaining adult levels of communication and emotional maturity. These are the people that you'll want to play with, as having someone else who can perform well in game, while also not verbally shitposting passive-aggressive remarks in your ear, is great for increasing your gameplay experience. So, you've encountered a Tier 3 gamer in the wild. How do you coerce them into befriending you? These gamers are generally liked and appreciated a lot more, which results in an increased market value. To lure one into gaming companionship, there are two main approaches. The most common way would be to brown nose them, but I'd recommend to avoid this strategy unless you're outperforming them, as they will likely see you as potential dead weight who is trying to get a free carry. The second approach, which I prefer to take, is something I like to call reverse negging. Negging is an act of emotional manipulation where a person makes a deliberate backhanded compliment or otherwise flirtatious remark to another person to undermine their confidence and increase their need of the manipulator's approval. Please note that this strategy requires a fine-tuned ability to read the room and find the proper opening for attack. Instead of after a mistake or a bad play, you want to strike when their confidence is high, such as after they make a good play or get a nice kill cam. Assuming that you've found the correct opportunity, how do you strike? You want to strike with direct attacks that are underwhelming in their offense or otherwise shocking to them. For example, everyone on Xbox Live has banged your mom at this point, but how many of them have banged your dad?
I'm gay!
Tons of people have called you shit at the game, but how many have called you a poo-poo head? If you're not having success with either of these strategies, don't worry. There's an easy fix for this, and all you have to do is get better at the game and an overall better personality. Let's move up to Tier 4, which is the tippity top of the Call of Duty food chain.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
I have a chair.
Unlike tiers 1 through 3, a player does not ascend into tier 4 by skill and personality alone, although those factors do drastically increase the probability of ascent into tier 4. The criteria for a tier 4 Call of Duty player is influence. If all of the priorly listed tiers of COD players are comparable to stages of human development, this final tier would be celebrity. Just because these people are tier 4 does not mean that they're better than people in other tiers, in general or in the game. However, it's without question that they have an enormously large influence as to how the game is played and viewed. It's no coincidence that when Nick Merckx drops a new video titled "The Best No Recoil Class," you see that gun all around Verdansk for the next week. People who are interested in the game use these influencers to find new metas, bugs, and playstyles, or even to help them develop opinions on the game. Content creators and streamers function as the cultural center of Call of Duty, and their actions and choices influence the metas, playstyles, and attitudes towards the game as a whole. Alright THICC PAPI Squad, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, and remember to hit that subscribe button and click the bell as well, so you don't miss out on any of my other videos. Feel free to join the THICC PAPI Squad Discord, links in the description, and follow me on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok at West Coast Wiley. All the links will be in the description, guys. Thanks.